Hello.
Hello?
Talk Radio.
We're about to begin. Hello and
Hello.
welcome to a September 29th segment from the Kentucky Water Fuel Museum. With us today is Kiril and his wife,
Angelina.
And
Yes.
please help me with the pronunciation of your last name. Chukanov?
Chukanov, yeah.
Chukanov, okay. And is Kiril the correct pronunciation of your first name?
Kiril Chukanov.
Okay, very good. And Angelina, welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a very great pleasure to have you on the program. You have a very interesting technology to describe to our listening audience. And so perhaps we can, first of all, get a fix on your location. You are living in Canada, is that not correct?
Yes, in Calgary, Canada.
Very good. But originally, are you both from Bulgaria?
Yes, I am from Bulgaria, but I moved with my family to the United States in 1990 to Silicon Valley, San Francisco.
And it's obvious that you have mastered English well.
Yeah, I speak English well, but I don't hear well.
Well, let's see if we can get you to inform our audience of what it is that you've been working on that is of great importance to mankind. But first, a little bit about your background. Apparently, you have been interested in science for many, many years, having received a PhD in Bulgaria as well as in Russia. Is that correct?
Yes, I received my PhD in thermodynamics in Russia, Moscow.
Uh-huh. At the St. Petersburg Institute?
Yes, I am graduated from St. Petersburg Institute of Technology, and then I went back to my ex-country, Bulgaria, and I used to work in different positions. Then I went back to Moscow to have to get my PhD in thermodynamics.
Very good.
And then I used to work in different positions: general manager of big company, professor, university professor, scientist, research scientist.
So you have been a teacher.
Yeah, I was professor in university in Bulgaria, in Algeria. So,
Now, how long have you been interested in alternative energy?
I'm interested more than 20 years, 22 years.
And most recently, you've been interested in ball lightning. Has that always been the case, or were you interested in other ways of producing energy?
I'm interested in ball lightning, quantum free energy from ball lightning more than 20 years.
So that has always been your interest?
This was like a revelation, at the beginning. Then I started serious work, experiments, theory. So during this long period of time in Bulgaria and the United States, I investigated this phenomenon very in deep, all physical, all energy features of ball lightning. I had hundreds of different experimental setups, generators, so I investigated this phenomenon very in deep.
And what was it that originally interested you in it? Was it a manifestation of ball lightning, or how did you get interested in the beginning?
I thought this was like a revelation, some insight. I don't know exactly, but some like a revelation that ball lightning represents something new, totally new state of matter. It's reality. Ball lightning is new state of matter. This quantum state of matter, macro, ball lightning is macro quantum object, which possess very different features than usual matter we know around, including ball lightning in some special quantum conditions can violate the law of conservation of energy. This looks crazy for contemporary official science, but that's true. I observed this phenomenon more than 20 years. And now I have in my facility in Calgary several very powerful quantum free energy generators which can produce more than 50 times over unity.
Very interesting.
So this is proven. I have these generators. I'm working now just to improve safety of the equipment, and maybe 2-3 months away, I'll be ready for business.
Very good. That's very encouraging to hear, because using this technology, it allows a person to generate more power than the electrical energy that is necessary to get the process started. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. But in future, it's close future, my generators will be closed loop. That means absolutely no energy from outside, because ball lightning produces quantum free energy in form of heat, electrical current, and very energetic photons. But this current and heat, of course, converted into electricity, can supply the whole system with necessary electricity. For example, one part of this gain of energy can go to maintain the system alive, working, and another 49 or many more times is gained for the electrical grid. So these generators will be closed loop. No need in any electrical power or any fuel from outside. So you can install these generators anywhere, in desert even though, and you can produce a huge amount of power, energy.
But it would take the energy from a battery to begin the process. Is that correct? It does require electrical energy to begin.
At the very beginning, you need to start the system. You need some electrical power. That's true. But once started, the generator can work years non-stop without very soon after you run the generator starts to produce its electrical power. You can turn off this battery, and this generator continue to work alone without any energy from outside. You don't need even to stop it for years. For example, if you install this engine generator on some airplane or rocket, they can fly forever without any substance fuel on the board.
Now, how does this ball lightning that you're making in a chamber compare to the naturally occurring ball lightning that people have witnessed throughout history?
I know very well all observation on natural ball lightning, and I produced this ball lightning in my lab for many years. I produce ball lightning because, the features are the same. Ball lightning is very different from regular plasma, and you cannot make mistake in claiming this is ball lightning. So my ball lightning, artificially created ball lightning, possess the same features like natural ball lightning. Difference is that the natural ball lightning exists very shortly, few seconds. My ball lightning can exist continuously, forever, so non-stop.
So you continue to, is the word excite, you continue to excite it, is that it? Or you feed it somehow, or?
Do you continue to excite to have the ball lightning running?
Yes, ball lightning, to exist, ball lightning must be some electrical current, must maintain ball lightning.
Okay. Now, I noticed that on the Internet encyclopedia known as Wikipedia, they mentioned that a very simple experiment can be done in a microwave oven using a lit match or blowing out a match and then placing it in the microwave immediately and turning the microwave on full power, that it will produce something like plasma balls or... I'm first in the world who started to produce artificial ball lightning in microwave. Really?
This, you can check. I produced ball lightning 22 years ago in microwave. But now many people in the world produce artificial ball lightning in kitchen, even though micro oven. But, these are just for fun. I mean, they produce ball lightning, exist in few seconds. They don't do anything.
There's no practical application of it.
Yeah, no active experiments with this ball lightning, no energy. They don't talk about energy at all. Just for fun. This is not practical.
Yeah. Is it
I had excuse me, I had big robotic generators where I had possibility to investigate all physical features of ball lightning, so active experiments. So these experiments are for students, from high school students.
Just for proof of
everybody.
concept.
Yeah. But they have no practical use, because even though they don't make any energy experiments or physical experiments on ball lightning.
Well, let's
talk
about practical use then. On an interview that you did last year that I was looking at online this morning, you implied that a neighborhood of homes could be provided with power, electrical power, and even heat, and even hydrogen gas by having a centrally located unit such as you will be producing for that neighborhood of homes.
Yes, that's true. It even though much more than I expected. Last year I expected to have in my generators about 6 to 10 times solar unity. Now I have more than 50, even though I can have much more.
50 times solar unity.
I have now more than 50 times solar unity, but I can get more solar unity in my generators, but it's not safe for equipment. My first test produced huge power, and this power destroyed all my electrical electronics equipment. So it took me 4 months to restore everything this, and now I am finishing all this system of protection of equipment against this huge power. Because, huge power is very good because it's free energy. But equipment must be safe,
Well, there is really no reason to pursue such huge amounts of energy if it's not necessary for typical usage, unless you want to try to sell it from one central location, huh?
Yes.
It's all about money, do you think, the large application?
My quantum energy generator will have very big applications. For example, one middle unit of, now I have middle unit 5,000 kilowatts, can supply with electrical power and heat a big neighborhood. This 5,000 kilowatts. It's about, even though not 50 houses, this could be, if you take 10 kilowatts per house, this 500 houses neighborhood. And this is in form of electricity and heat. So at the beginning last year I subestimated the possibility of these generators. Now my tests, and they show much more power than I expected before. Of course, these generators can be used for business. So some business, some big stores like Walmart, plants, these generators can be installed on locomotives, big trucks, airplanes.
Because of the size of the unit, it's not small enough to put in a vehicle, an individual vehicle, but it is.
Yeah, now I have this 5 megawatts. I have no smaller. But now I'm working on one small prototype, which I expect to produce between 60 and 100 kilowatts. They could be used on vehicles, on cars. Even though this prototype is very simple and small in dimensions, but it will take me time to build it. For me now, it's much easier to build middle-sized.
Yeah, a larger-sized unit.
Than small, but it's not problem. It's just time, question of time.
Now,
about bigger power, I can build even though 10,000, 20,000 megawatts, which is 10 times more than, for example, a nuclear power plant. It's possible, but it needs more investment.
Right.
I think middle size will have much more application because, for example, you have one village in India somewhere, they have no electricity, you can install there, and they don't need connection from some big electrical power plant. So I think the middle size will be very useful instead the big one.
Well, it seems to me that China would be a place that needs it too.
Yeah.
Since they're talking about building so many coal-fired power plants in China, this would be a way to avoid all that coal pollution.
Of course. In China, this is a disaster with their coal-fired plants. It's a disaster for China, for the whole world.
Yeah, it's affecting the atmosphere all over the planet.
Yeah.
Answer this question for me then. What are the ingredients that are needed to produce this reaction inside your robotic controlled chamber? Do you use water? Do you use... I know you produce hydrogen. Where does that hydrogen come from?
In my current generators, ball lightning exists in just air.
So do you add any other ingredients, or is it just air?
No. Air, but air is just media. There's no consummation of air. Air is not fuel. No, nothing else. Just ball lightning exists in air, one atmosphere.
Okay.
If I have generators which is not tested yet, under high pressure air, the over unity can increase 100 times more. But now I'm not working on this prototype because I have no time.
So if the reaction is being done in the air, where does the hydrogen come from? You say hydrogen is one of the byproducts of this reaction.
Oh, there's some misunderstanding about hydrogen. I mentioned hydrogen in my last interview because ball lightning, this free energy, can produce very easy hydrogen. For example, ball lightning, excited ball lightning, radiates very extremely dense flow of very energetic photons, X-rays, gamma rays, even though ultraviolet. And this, for example, extremely dense flow of ultraviolet, for example, they can split water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. So this is the production of hydrogen, very cheap, very inexpensive method of production of hydrogen.
So you're talking about radiolysis then? Radiolysis or radiolysis, using radiation, the gamma?
Yes. Excited ball lightning radiates a lot of free energy in form of these very energetic photons, extremely dense flow.
Now,
this flow, yes.
Is that dangerous? Is the radiation coming from one of these chambers harmful?
These are photons, very energetic photons, but if you put shield, some metal, it's not dangerous, of course.
So it does have to be shielded?
Metal sheet is enough to shield it. It's not radioactive. These are photons. I have no radioactive byproducts, neutrons or another. So it's not dangerous. You stop the process and nothing. Everything is clean.
Well,
you have to shield. If you have ultraviolet, for example, you are on the beach, there's some very little from the sun, you burn. If you want not to be burned, you use umbrella or something else. The same is with this. This exists in chamber, metal chamber, so nothing outside is, no photons outside. They are stopped by the walls.
Yes.
So it's absolutely not dangerous. Now, I'm working with this a long time and I'm alive.
Yeah, you look healthy in the picture I saw. The video I saw.
He is healthy, yeah. We're all healthy here.
Well, that might have something to do with Angelina's cooking also,
She can answer.
Well, we have my mother at home, and she's mainly cooking. We're working a lot of hours every day, and there are no really time to be home and cook. But we're trying to accomplish our project as soon as possible.
So, Angelina, do you participate in this experimentation also?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that is the purpose in our life, actually. That's the main thing we're doing, yeah.
So were you involved in similar studies as your husband earlier on in your life?
No, I just met him, and he got interested of ball lightning, and that's how 22 years went, just talking about ball lightning and generators.
Well, isn't that nice? That's something that many more married couples can imitate.
Well, yeah, Angelina is the financial manager of our company. She orders equipment. She manages everything. She's very helpful with this project.
Well, that reminds me of the couple in France in the 1700s who worked together in science. That would be Lavoisier. Antoine Lavissée and his wife, Anne-Marie.
Thank you. I feel very impressed by you. Thank you so much. Well, it's actually fun. It's a lot of stress too. We went through a lot of problems and success, but it's very, very exciting. It's very exciting looking for the new generator, for new tests, for anything coming. Kiril he is himself generator of ideas, and it's unstoppable. There's no way anything will stop him from final product he's trying to make. It's unbelievable.
That's something we should discuss, because really there are powers that would not want this kind of product introduced. There are too many people that make their living or make their fortunes from energy.
That's
they
correct.
are definitely against the introduction of something that would, cut them out of their profits.
That's absolutely right. But we believe then when something new is coming, nothing can stop that. That was in the past. That's how all the new big inventions were making their life, with a lot of fighting and with a lot of crises. But they come to life, and we really believe that it's time now for the new source of energy. Half of the world, even more, needs energy to live. It's not like something luxury. Yeah, it's really they need to survive. There are villages in India, villages in China, Taiwan, Africa, everywhere. People need energy. It's a question of living normal life, and that's what we think it's time to happen.
Pollution or global warming to solve the problem of pollution, global warming.
Yeah, there's a lot of contamination of the environment that gets back to energy, isn't there? More than just global warming. There's a lot of contamination that happens because of our dependence on the petrochemical world and the coal. These are very harmful to the environment.
That's right, and we believe if somebody knows the way to change that, has to do it, and that's what we're doing. Actually, I'm just helping. Kiril is doing.
Well, it takes a partnership to keep this project going, and I'm very pleased to see that the two of you are working as a team to accomplish this.
That's right. You said exactly right. It has to be a team in this work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we have our children involved too. They grew up with ball lightning, and they witnesses all the all the crisis and all the stress. But that's how it is.
That's funny to say that they grew up with ball lightning. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, what about the possibility then of a working unit being installed in a factory or in another installation and actually being a proof of concept? Is that possible anytime soon?
What about generator installed in a factory? It's possible soon?
Yes. I'll be ready with generator for manufacturing maybe 2-3 months away. But maybe this will take time to organize this manufacturing.
Okay, but I'm talking about just one unit installed somewhere and running to prove that
I can do it about 3 months away.
Okay. So
I have already this unit. Now we are working on the safety equipment, because when you have some machine, some chamber, for example, this is simple to say chamber, and you have a lot of power inside, some energy dragon, very powerful. You need to make this chamber safe, not to make explosion or damage electrical or electronics part. So now the problem is not the big power. Now the problem is how to make this system reliable. I mean, not to damage equipment.
Yes.
So, but we have very good success now, and I think 2-3 months away we'll solve this problem. We are ready for business. Of course, I think at the beginning I can sell 1, 2, 3 small amount of generators, but then we can expand this business to hundreds of thousands.
And
I have already many people from around the world ask me, they are ready to order, but I told them I don't take any penny from any potential customer before to be sure these generators are safe in work. This safety is more safety of the equipment, not about people around.
Yes.
So after that, any potential customer can come here, test everything, and then can buy. So we are very, very close.
I know that you're not pricing then this product because it isn't finished yet, but approximately what is the price range do you anticipate for the medium-sized unit that's capable of providing power for a neighborhood? Are we talking, $100,000 or $1 million? What is the proposed cost approximately for one of these units?
Yeah. What I have right now, about 5 megawatts, this 5,000 kilowatts. This can serve even though small village, about 500 houses, for example. At the beginning, this will be more expensive, say about $150,000 for 5 megawatts.
Okay,
but later will be much cheaper.
We're talking about a device that doesn't require any energy to provide power for an entire village. So really, $150,000 doesn't sound very expensive at all.
One car is, we just bought a car for $26,000. Just a car. This is, for example, 5 cars. But this will serve the whole village of big company with all kinds of energy, heat, electrical, and for many years, and without any fuel. You don't pay any bill for electricity, for fuel. So if you calculate, for example, even though 100 houses, 50 kilowatts per house, that means they can have pool, everything. They can have a lot of big spending of energy, much more than now. For example, 100. If this 150,000, this makes 1,500 per house. It's nothing for many, many years.
Yeah.
And no bills for electricity. It's cheap, very cheap.
Yeah, it really is. Now, will this unit also be producing heat as well as the electricity?
Yeah, a lot of heat.
Okay.
My units now produce a lot of heat.
So in other words, a person could benefit by heating water as well as the air?
Heating water for bathrooms, for pools, heating air. Directly without convert into electricity, because I produce electricity too, big power in form of electricity.
But it would require neighbors to cooperate together in order to implement a system where they all share power from one central location. Yeah,
community must cooperate, but later, if I'll be able, I'm sure I'll be able to produce smaller power, then every house can buy its own unit. But
really?
This, for example, some community. This like you have some neighborhood transformer, some small building, very small building, inside this generator, and this generator is connected underground with electrical cable to every house and some pipes for heat, hot water, hot air, isolated. For example, I know in my ex-country in Bulgaria, we supply hot water of 10 kilometers away from the power plant, with very good isolation. So if you supply of some half a mile, it's nothing. The heat losses will be very, very little. And, this is very realistic, very realistic.
Yeah, it sounds like an excellent alternative to our current power grid, which is very sensitive to shutting down. As we've seen in recent weeks, we've seen numerous blackouts in the United States due to, I suppose, the heavy demand. People have been without power, also due to thunderstorms, tornadoes, things like that. Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of people in the United States have been without power over the last couple months.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so this kind of more widely distributed generation system would eliminate that kind of problem.
Yes.
From a central power grid like we have now.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct. And these middle-sized generators, they can be connected. For example, if you need to stop the generator to fix something, you can be connected with neighborhood, and they can provide you energy.
Yes, or you could even have a backup.
Some network connected between them. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But it would require some kind of cooperation, possibly even something like the utility companies we have now, that they could assume the new role of controlling and maintaining these generators. Instead of their coal-fired power plants or nuclear power plants, the utility companies could switch over to companies that maintain and like you say, the network would be somewhat similar to the grid we now have, only it would be more widely distributed.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah, and that probably will make smoother move.
Yeah,
and
because
switch. Yeah.
Because people are already connected to the grid. So
correct.
basically,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
what you're talking about is doing away with the power plants that we now have, and possibly making a number of smaller plants using your device that provide the grid with power in a more distributed generation.
Right, exactly right. Yeah.
You know, we'll eliminate these very expensive high voltage electrical power lines with big transformers. These very expensive losses there to transport electricity. Big distances are big losses. We'll eliminate this.
Yes.
We have idea that maybe this business and company will provide and maintain these local electrical power plants at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, it would be more acceptable to the utility companies if they continued to hold the reins of power. If it wasn't from their coal-fired plants and their nuclear plants, at least they would still be able to bill their customers using these devices on a more local level.
Correct, and they have experience doing that.
Exactly.
I'm not sure, excuse me, Angelina. I'm against monopoly of big utility companies.
Well, I am too, but I'm talking about realistically. If your devices were used in the place of the central generation like we have now with coal and nuclear power, it could,
of course.
It could make the transition easier if by allowing the current utility companies to continue to, because it's going to require some large corporation to network your units. Obviously, if you make one small enough to put in a home, then it won't be a problem. But if you're talking about neighborhoods sharing power from a centralized unit, and then that being networked with another neighborhood and another, that would require something just like what we already have in the utility companies, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we can use the same network, high power lines, just to replace these coal-fired plants.
Because that's what the real problem
the new one. Because for us, it's not difficult to build very powerful electrical power plant. I thought even though 10,000, 20,000 megawatts, such an electrical power plant can supply with electricity the whole state or country, and not just city.
The cost of the energy will be greatly reduced because you're virtually free energy. You're not having to bring in train loads of coal every day.
Yeah, no coal, no fuel, no gas, no any, or for example, falling water or wind, or nothing from outside.
Well, you know, I just saw a figure the other day from a book I just got, a book entitled Big Coal, and it said that every man, woman, and child in America uses about 20 pounds of coal a day, about 10 kilos of coal per day. Every time we turn on the light switch, every time we, use our toaster, our coffee pot, or whatever we're doing in our home or our business, we're using about 20 pounds of coal per day.
That's true.
To generate that electricity.
Everything this going in the atmosphere, it's terrible.
Yeah, it really is. It's quite a bit of pollution that we're creating and we don't think of that when we turn on a light switch. We don't relate our use of electricity to the burning of coal.
Yeah, oil and gas are not much better because they produce CO2 too.
Exactly.
You cannot avoid production of carbon dioxide. with our cars every day, they pump into the atmosphere millions of tons this gas and this damage atmosphere, global warming, and all these negative effects which can destroy our civilization, destroy the life on Earth in some not too long term, maybe 50 years since now.
Well, there's a new film that just came out. It's called The 11th Hour. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
A new movie just came out, a documentary. It's called The 11th Hour.
Uh-huh.
And it has an interview with numerous scientists, and even Mikhail Gorbachev is interviewed in this film.
Uh-huh.
And they're talking about how mankind really is destroying this planet, and something needs to be done very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. This is very dangerous for our survival.
Well, it would have been appropriate if you had been included in that film, because at the end of the film they were talking about answers to these problems, different technologies, and your device would have been quite appropriately showcased in that film.
Well, hopefully it will happen, yeah.
We are very, very close. Actually, we are at the point. Just a few more months I told you to finish some details.
Well, let me ask you this. If this technology were not available, if it did not exist, what would be another alternative energy technology that you would be pursuing?
Frankly, I don't see any alternative.
I mean, have you been impressed by any other technologies that you've seen over your years of scientific research?
And you know there's alternative energy.
I know very well all energy research in alternative. There's no, there's no replacement for quantum free energy. Only real free energy source is quantum free energy. Everything else is just utopia. I know very well. I made even my own experiments. Quantum free energy has no alternative. Absolutely no alternative. Of course, nuclear energy is not alternative too. So I don't see any possible alternative source of energy which can make survival of civilization possible.
And you're referring, when you say
quantum energy, there's no alternatives.
In quantum energy, you're referring to what's been called the sea of energy in which we exist. Is that correct?
There's such a fashion in science like zero-point energy.
Exactly.
0-point energy to me is some mathematical fiction. So many people in the world work on this problem, and nobody has some working setup, even though small power. Quantum free energy is real. This energy from ball lightning, this is, I explain it in my book, posted in my website. This energy, because of violation of all conservation of energy in some very special quantum conditions. So there's no other alternative. All kinds of zero-point energy devices, they are just fiction.
So in other words, you are not equating quantum energy with zero-point energy.
No, absolutely not. They are trying, many people, they are trying to incorporate me into zero-point energy, but I am very, very against.
Well, what
quantum free energy has nothing common, nothing with zero-point energy.
So what is the difference then? In other words, quantum energy, you are implying that your device is able to extract energy from the atmosphere, correct?
Zero-point energy claim to extract energy from the physical vacuum, but this physical vacuum, it just doesn't exist. There are no proofs it exists, even though it cannot be proven it doesn't exist.
But
the ball lightning is real.
But isn't it, in essence, what you're doing when you say that inside your chamber you're extracting this energy from the air, and yet you're not using up the air, and you're not introducing more air?
No. Air is just media. Air is not fuel. You can close this chamber for many years and nothing will happen. The same air will produce this energy. Actually, not air produce. Ball lightning is in air, this media. It's not fuel. You can use another gas too, helium or another, and the same ball lightning exists. Media is not fuel. I explain and I prove in my generated many years, ball lightning represents giant atom with, for example, 10 or 22nd power electrons. They will be polyquantum principle, and because of that, because this principle is quantum, it cannot be avoided. They are controversial between this polyquantum principle and law of conservation of energy, and because law of conservation of energy is a law, not quantum principle, in some cases this law is violated because quantum principle poly cannot be violated. It's difficult now to explain because it's, everything I explain in my book.
Okay, now let's
but this energy is not coming from some media, physical vacuum or from the space or... No, this energy is produced at the moment of realization of this. This energy comes from nowhere. It's just violation of law of conservation of energy. And this is real, this exists.
Okay, now I'm looking at your website because you mentioned your book. And first of all, let's tell people what your website is. It's ChukanovEnergy.com. Is that correct?
Exactly.
So that's ChukanOV, ChukanovEnergy.com.
Correct.
Okay, now on your website, it's quite a good website actually, and this book, is this able to be ordered from your website, or how does the person acquire it?
Just write me an email at my email address, Kiril@ChukanovEnergy.com, and we'll send to this person this book. And this person can pay later.
Wow.
Even though if not pay, we don't care. Books are for to read.
Yeah,
not
well, I
to
noticed
make
the person can actually read the book online, can't they?
Correct, they can read the books online, yeah.
Yeah, they can. This book is posted.
Yeah.
Even though my last two books on general quantum mechanics, I post in my website free. I mean, they can read, they can print it, they don't need to pay, because I think books must be read by people, not to make business.
Yeah, well,
I can make big business from my quantum free energy. For book, I don't care too much. But anyway, because we pay money to print it, to make, we have some small money just to pay cost of printing and shipping.
Yes. Now, you show a mailing address here of Utah. That's no longer correct. Is that right?
No, not absolutely. Our house is there. We like this house. And my daughter is around there. She's a student at the University of Utah. She lives in...
Okay, so the Sandy, Utah address is still correct.
It's correct.
Yeah, it's correct.
It's correct.
And so if someone wants to send you an email, they would send it to Kiril, that's Kiril, at ChukanovEnergy.com.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to put your contact information on the page here of this interview, because most of our listeners are archive listeners. They catch the program later on whenever it's convenient for them. And that way they'll be able to contact you if they don't write it down while we're talking here.
Very good.
Now, there was another famous Bulgarian scientist. He immigrated to Australia. His name was Yul Brown, or, well, I don't know what his Bulgarian name was, but that's the name he assumed when he immigrated. Are you familiar with his work?
Yeah, I know about him. Yuli, I forgot his last...
Brown.
No, Yul Brown, he accepted this name. His
see.
real name is Yuli something, I forgot.
Yeah, I forgot his
inventor
name.
of brown gas. He invented...
Exactly.
Yes.
So you never met him?
No. He was in Australia, I was in America.
Yeah. Well, no, at the time that you were both in Europe, I thought that perhaps you would have met, or I guess you consider it Eastern Europe. Is that correct?
Correct. We don't have chance to meet. Yeah.
Yeah, he did some very substantial research into production of hydrogen and oxygen from water.
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
Yes.
In fact, the gas is even named after him. People refer to hydrogen-oxygen gas as Brown's gas.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Now, Nikola Tesla. I'm sorry?
Okay, brown gas is great, discovered too. About Tesla, we are in fact the same nationality with Tesla. We are Southeast Europe, Slavic nation. We speak the same language, even though his family and my family are similar. Tesla means some tool, and Chukanov is hammer in English, hammer.
Really?
So both are very similar tools like hammers.
That's very interesting.
You know.
Now,
yeah, he originates from his hometown. Is about 150 miles from my hometown.
Very interesting.
So we speak the same language. We are similar. We are the same South Slavic nation. Even though my mother is Macedonian, my father is Bulgarian. He's Serbian. You know, we are the same nation.
Uh-huh. Now, Tesla actually did some research about ball lightning. Isn't that correct?
Yes, he has had interest in ball lightning too. Yeah. He made with Tesla coil some artificial ball lightning which exists a few seconds. Many people after that tried his technology to produce. But, you know, this was just to reproduce natural ball lightning, just for a few seconds. That's all. But active experiments with ball lightning, physical energy, I'm the only scientist in the world who is doing that. About energy from ball lightning, I'm unique. Nobody in the world is trying to produce energy from ball lightning, I mean free energy. Ball lightning is, some scientists think that it is possible to use ball lightning as a media to make controlled thermonuclear fusion. But you understand, fusion is fusion. It's fusion of deuterium, tritium. So they think in ball lightning can be created sustainable controlled thermonuclear fusion. Nobody succeeds. Actually, I produce in my setup controlled thermonuclear fusion on ball lightning. But it doesn't interest me. Because if I have free energy source with so much power, why I need headache to produce controlled fusion? For what?
Yes.
Free energy quantum is much better than fusion. Fusion needs deuterium, tritium. Fusion produces anyway some radioactivity, smaller than in fission. But it contaminates the walls of generators. And no, thermonuclear fusion for me is dead.
There's no reason to go there.
Technology in tokamaks is impossible to create controlled thermonuclear fusion. It's a waste of money. You know, now this project, International Actor, in France, so much money, tens of billions of dollars, 20 years, but it will be unsuccessful.
Whereas if they just gave you a very small portion of that money, you'd have all of us using your devices and
I have with $1 million. Well, with $1 million, I have several middle-sized generators, 5,000 megawatts.
Well, there's an ancient text in the Bible that says, and King Solomon wrote this in Ecclesiastes, it says that the people who deserve it don't necessarily get it. And that's really what's happened. In fact, that's what resulted in our coming in contact. Dr. Ruggero Santilli sent out an email about the Nobel Prize Committee and how they award prizes to persons who are not doing the real important research to benefit mankind necessarily. The people who are really at the forefront, like yourself and Dr. Santilli, don't get recognition. And then some of the people who do get the prizes aren't necessarily the ones who are doing the groundbreaking work that would really help mankind.
Kiril's focus never was financial focus or recognition. Actually, he did that by his heart, and he will not stop from people who are trying to not encourage him. Really, his focus is to make this work and to help the people.
Yes,
I don't think Nobel Prize is something good thing. I think even though this Nobel Prize institution must be dissolved, must be eliminated. It creates too much injustice in scientific media. For example, Tesla also awarded with Nobel Prize. He deserved Nobel Prize for many discoveries, but he never was awarded. And another people for some very controversial theoretical work they got. I don't think Nobel Prize is something for which people must work and try to get. No. Personally, I don't need Nobel Prize. I need to bring this energy to people, to all people on our planet, to make poor people to live better life, to avoid pollution of atmosphere, global warming, to make this energy is unlimited. You can produce any amount of energy at very, very low prices everywhere in our Earth without to think about natural resources like coal, oil, gas. So this is important to make something for the human race, not to get some award.
What a beautiful statement. What you just said is worthy of putting on a plaque in the town square, because it truly is a major part of the problems on this planet. The opposite mentality of what you just expressed is really of great detriment to all mankind living now and in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very encouraging to talk to you both and to be able to share with others the information about what you're doing to help mankind and help this planet, and to help even consumers because of how much we're having to spend on energy. Mm-hmm. To bring that cost down to where people can have a better lifestyle without having to pay so much money to the energy mafia,
Yeah, now you see $82 a barrel oil. It's crazy. Who can afford it? Even though American people can't afford it now. What about, for example, in my ex-country, Bulgaria? It's too expensive for people to pay so much money for energy.
For something that's so harmful.
Gas. Yeah. They pay half of their income to pay their energy bills. It's crazy thing.
Yeah, it's not good, and it's not good for the planet. So it's nice to see that people like yourself are doing advanced research and with limited funding and with a view to sharing it for the good of others to help them. It's very encouraging.
Thank you. And I want to say that all big discoveries are made in garage conditions with very little money.
Yeah,
and
that's very true.
Even though nuclear energy is discovered by Becquerel, then Maria and Pierre Curie in garage conditions.
Garage conditions, yes.
Garage conditions. Computer, many discoveries. They started in garage.
People who don't have a garage, they do it on their kitchen table,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Science, additional science is very, very conservative. They don't change their dogmas. Absolutely, they're afraid to think about it, even though. Because people there, they worry too much about their career, they're afraid to think about things which are out of the officially accepted dogmas.
And you
For example,
you have had problems bumping into this kind of mentality, is that correct?
Yes. I don't worry about my scientific career and my scientific reputation. I'm just doing my job. I have the generators, and that's important.
Now, do you have scientists who have confirmed your findings?
I have many people came to my small lab in Salt Lake City, and then I was able, my small setups, Angelina 1, 2 to 6, to produce about 30%. Now I am able to produce 50, 100 times. So it's very easy, Now, of course, yes. Now, don't forget that we work for business. We are very limited in giving information, detailed information. But before to start business, of course, we need to invite people for protocols, everything. But the obvious is obvious. If you have 100 times solar unity, this everybody can see right now during a few minutes, you know.
So in other words, there are people who've been impressed, scientific people who've been impressed by
yes, of course. If not, I will be not here, and nobody will give me 1 million for nothing.
Has there been any literature, any peer-reviewed literature about your technology?
I don't publish anything in peer-reviewed journals.
Has there been any mention of it in any of the scientific journals? Or?
Maybe, I don't know that. I also mention in newspapers everywhere, but peer-reviewed journals, they don't like people like me.
Yeah, they won't give
you because I am different. I'm talking about law of energy conservation violation, they don't like that.
Yeah.
I was criticized by American Physical Society. Bob Park, big criticism. But Bob Park never was in my lab. He never saw my work. They just criticize from distance because they don't want this to be true. You know, I don't publish anything with peer-reviewed journals. Never I sent no one article. I have 2 patents issued, and this is enough for me. Some secondary journals published about me, like electrical spacecraft, few articles, another secondary. But they published, not me. They asked me, I sent them some. I participate in some scientific conference like this in Salt Lake City, Utah, ball lighting conference. That's all my scientific presentation, my books. I think this is enough.
Well,
I don't want to damage my nervous system to send articles to peer-reviewed journals. They will reject me for sure.
Yeah. Well, hopefully very soon the production of your units will reveal the limited scope of learning that these people in academia have, because the proof will be in the pudding, as they say.
Maybe, but I think my generation will work 10, 20 years, and they will not
accept it
scientifically. You know, they will continue to think the old-fashioned way. So official scientists will be the last to approve my discovery. I'm sure that.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have to tell you that when we live in Salt Lake City and we have laboratory there, we have hundreds of people coming to the laboratory and talking to Kiril. And we have from students' age to retired scientists, and there was a lot of support actually from people who saw the generators that Kiril was making. And we really are thankful to everybody who got involved in that hard for us time.
Of course, I was visited a few times by some scientists from NASA.
Pentagon.
From some national lab, another. I got some emails from different United States governmental institutions. I answered them, but nothing happened. Nobody invited me to work for the United States government.
And well, it's obvious even in the case of Dr. Santilli's work.
That, just they asked me some questions, that's all. Yeah. I answered them. Actually, I'm a U.S. citizen, so I am proud to be, and if needed, I could work for the United States government.
No, it appears that there's not much market in this country for the best technology that's actually coming from this country. Well, listen, we're down to our last few seconds. I want to thank you both for having joined us. It's been an excellent opportunity to learn more about this technology and to share it with others, and I thank you so much for being guests on this program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to talking again in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.